Hey everybody, welcome back. We are doing some reactions. I've got Buddy with me. Purdy's making her way around. Here she comes. You gonna get in my lap? She's just gonna stand and look. We're getting ready to watch Ratched. I'm excited. This has got Sarah Paulson, and I haven't heard a lot of talk about it, but it looked good. And the summary says in 1947, Mildred Ratched begins working as a nurse at a leading psychiatric hospital, but beneath her stylish exterior lurks a growing darkness. And I did all of that without my contacts. At any rate, I think Nurse Ratched is based on a real person. I don't know a lot about her though. And so as we come across stuff in the show, I may look things up just to see how much of it might be real life and kind of go from there. But it's 8 episodes. We're going to give it a watch and go from there and see if we enjoy the show as much as we think we might. So I'm excited. She's going to drive me nuts. And it's hot and it's sweaty. We're having a warm spell and it's been chilly lately, and so I'm not used to the warmness right now. Are you going to get comfortable? No, that doesn't mean lick me. I know I'm all salty right now. All right, here we go. And this episode is called Pilot. Put some Vicks on the chest. Open the
Hello,
lungs.
ladies.
Oh, he's going to use it for something else. I guess it was just Vaseline and not Vicks Vapor Rub. I was thinking it was Vicks Vapor Rub. Hope he got the Vaseline off his hands.
Where are you coming from? Oh, all over, I guess.
He didn't go to the phone. So they're setting him up as a bad guy.
I'll hit it later.
Fantastic. Just fantastic.
Yeah, definitely a bad guy. Is the food gone?
Thanks again, Monsignor.
So where are they going to find him? Don't kill the visitor. And the only black guy. Did he put him in the bathtub? Well, at least the black guy wasn't the only one to die. They killed a couple of white guys too. So is there a connection between her and the guy who's killing? That's a pretty area. Wow. Very fancy and beautiful. Love the outfit. Not crazy about the hat, but the rest of it's pretty cool.
Have a nice day.
Was that the guy from the cottages?
He'll be gone sometime. You just said he'd return in the afternoon. It could be longer. Well, then it could.
It's interesting because the thing that Nurse Ratched is famous for, the personality and everything, is the one that's being exhibited by Nurse Bucket. The little bit that I know. And I'm thinking that the line that the nurse's aide said about nurses being God's angels, I'm wondering if Nurse Ratched was a mercy killer type of personality. I might be wrong about that, and we'll find out what this show is giving us. I don't know if it's going to give us the legend or if it's going to give us their own version.
Very well.
And it seems like Nurse Bucket runs the show, not Dr. Hanover.
Interesting.
Is that the governor's wife?
Looking good today, Mildred.
Sexing herself up a little bit? Color change.
She's very insistent. I'll take care of it.
A bit of dysfunction at the facility.
If you were willing to conduct the interview right now, I could try my best to look past the insult. Your office is this way?
Yeah, right this way.
She took charge.
Nurse Bucket, a moment, please.
With her bucket.
Do you have scat throwers here? Patients who throw their feces?
As far as patients who've dealt with feces, it happens. It's gross. It happens for various reasons. I encountered it both at the hospital and at the prison I worked at. At the prison, sometimes it was a concoction of feces, urine, semen, other stuff that they would use to throw at staff. And for the other, like we had one fella who wrote on the walls in his feces and had it all over the walls. I mean, all four walls of the cell. I mean, it was bad enough that it had to be cleaned before he could eat. It was that unsanitary. At the hospital, we had it for various reasons, usually folks acting out type of thing. We had one guy that could poop on demand. And that would be his threat to get his way for things. He would do feces, he would do urine to the point it would get all over the hospital room. So anytime he came into the hospital, which he came in 3 or 4 times a week if he wasn't hospitalized somewhere, he had a severe and persistent mental illness, schizophrenia. The feces and the urine were not part of the schizophrenia, but that was his way of getting things. So he would threaten staff, if you don't do this, I'm going to, and he would make the threat of either urinating or defecating on demand. So anytime he came in, we cleared out the hospital room, mattress on the floor, but he couldn't have any, he couldn't have the bed itself in there. He couldn't have any cords. They would take the alcohol, the hand sanitizer containers out. Anything they could remove from the room, they would. And part of that was because of the mess he would make. The other part of it was because he was constantly trying to kill himself. So that's why no cords and stuff. But it's something you have to deal with in the field, unfortunately. So.
But I hope you believe me when I tell you it is all I want in the world.
Which hits home with him because that's what he's trying to get the governor to.
But when there is an opening, please trust that I will consider you.
She's going to kill the nurse that was banging the patient. She swiped the wallet. I was wondering what she swiped.
That concludes our special report on the clergy killer. And now,
Do you think you could do me a favor?
So it's funny. She was slandering the journalists. I forget what she called them, but basically calling them a bunch of buzzards. And there she is listening to the news report and reading the paper about the killer.
To me and suck me dry, as if he really were Count Dracula.
Was that a little ode to American Horror Story? That's a pretty coral.
Let's pretend we're husband and wife who've just had a fight.
what was the fight about?
Role playing.
I believe they're nothing but a burden, but you believe a family isn't a family without them.
He's like, what have I gotten myself into?
Then we'll both realize it's not going to work.
She's gonna kill him.
I'll raise it for a few years till I can't do it anymore, and then I will leave her on a doorstep.
Leave her. going to force
You should
her
take
to
your
quit.
coat off.
Color change. The green lights make the uniform look like they're white. Her car sticks out, doesn't it?
Well, I guess she works here now.
So she is a mercy killer, but not by her hand. But she's setting the stage for everything.
Oh, my word. Everything I'm fighting for, I'll be exposed. This
She's good at
negligence
setting the
will ruin
stage.
me.
Knock your
Head over, you must.
So I've been trying to figure out what her connection is to Edward Tolson. And I'm wondering, based on the story that she was telling and not knowing her parents because they died when she was young, although this doesn't quite fit, this theory doesn't quite fit, but I'm wondering if he might be her brother or something like that. It could be that she has an admiration for him and it's more of a lover type of feeling she has for him. So I'm not quite sure how they're setting things up, but I've been trying to figure out how they're connected to each other because she's clearly set the stage in order to be there because of him.
It's me.
So they know each other. He did say his mother was shot up with morphine, but didn't say that killed her, so maybe she's his mother? Hello, Miss Klutz. You're here just for the end. Again. You always seem to know when the show is over. Okay, so I should have done this before watching the first episode, but I looked up Nurse Ratched, and it's Ratched with an ED, not an ETT, which is what I thought her name was, and they were just doing a twist on it for the show. But Nurse Ratched is a fictional character and the main antagonist of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is a movie I have not seen yet. I know it has Jack Nicholson in it, and it's about an institution, but other than that, that's all I know. Or I might be mixing it up with A Clockwork Orange. I might be mixing those two movies up. A cold, heartless tyrant, Nurse Ratched has become the stereotype of the nurse as a battle axe. So that's why I was saying Nurse Bucket seemed to fit that stereotype of Nurse Ratched, and they were showing Nurse Ratched in this innocent, lady demure type of figure. I didn't react a whole bunch to that, I don't think. I guess we'll find out as I'm editing, but I don't feel like I reacted a lot. It's just trying to get a feel for where the show is going and what the connection was because they established him first and then brought her story in. And so I don't know what the connection is still other than they know each other and they care about each other. He told the Monsignor, or whatever his, however you say that word, that his mother was shot up with morphine and he was put in an orphanage, which seemed to lead us to believe that she had died, the mother had died, but he didn't actually say she died. So is it possible that she is the mother? Other than that, my second guess would be that they are kindred spirits. Hi, you coming to visit too? You silly girl. You silly girl. She definitely has that personality that I wish that I had. Not only does she stand up for herself, but she's able to get her way with things. I can stand up for myself, but it usually ends up biting me in the ass, such as getting fired from the last job, or the previous job, not the current job. I'm terrible when it comes at negotiating and that kind of stuff. So like negotiating for higher pay, negotiating for lower cost on the car, all that kind of stuff. I am not good at that. And I know in some countries, haggling is part of the custom to haggle over something. I don't know if I could do it. I'm just terrible at it. I would just not buy. So, I guess it depends on how much they want to sell. Yeah, I'm terrible at it, aren't I? Well, everybody's just giving me love. I don't know why. It's too hot. It's too hot for love. So there's that aspect to her that's kind of something you kind of admire. But as we can see, she also uses that skill to push people over the edge, like she did with the one fella. I never did catch his name, only that he said "see," and that was it. So he was Latin of some nature, but past that, I didn't catch his name. She wormed her way into the job by blackmailing the nurse, which the nurse should have been fired anyhow. That was wholly inappropriate. Wholly inappropriate. So she should have been fired anyhow. This the this time period for the institution also will be interesting in what cases they may or may not show, because in this time period, people were put into an institution for various reasons that would not be tolerated nowadays. Trying to figure out what she's doing. She's trying to get comfortable. She's draped over my leg and trying to put her head up on the arm of the chair right here. If you ever watched Girl Interrupted, that there were people put into the institutions then for various reasons, and reasons that they shouldn't have been put into an institution. Some of them, it may have been appropriate, but for others it wasn't. And like the one girl that was in the institution in Girl Interrupted, she was there because she was gay. In the 70s, there was a huge release from the institutions, and unfortunately, a lot of people that were released from the institutions then ended up on the streets. They did not think that plan through very well. The government putting the cart before the horse, as usual. And so there's interesting things that they could put into the show, and so I'm interested in seeing what they put in, what they don't. Like I said, I never did watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I don't know if that would be helpful for me for this show or not. I'm not going to get that watched in time before watching the show. So, but if it's something I should see to maybe connect the dots later on, let me know, and we'll see about that. But I'm going to leave it at that. This is episode 1 of Nurse Ratched, and we're off to an interesting start. I'll put it that way. We've had sexual perversion, we've had murder, we've had a little bit of Hannibal Lecter, where she talks the person into killing themselves. We've had leering, we've had, I guess those are the biggest things right there. We've had lying, we've had blackmail. We've got the landlord who's a bit nosy but eccentric. Thank you for joining me on this one. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.